Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome to Gashi's Kaman TV, the tallest man in Black Africa. This country can easily burn. This country is trying to joke with fire. When you listen to the leaders of this country, you see some people who can easily burn their motherland. When you look at the conditions ambazo zipo nchini Kenya, kuna mambo ambayo inaonyesha wazi wazi that if there will be no intervention, the 2007 post-election violence will look like a Christmas day, just as Kriegler report indicated. Why am I saying this? I'm saying this because of the following factors. The following factors clearly indicate that this country can break down. This country can easily go to the dogs. The first thing is that when you look at Kenya, there is serious division. Watu wamegawanyika kabisa. Watu hawaelewani. Ukiangalia utaona kwamba the country is divided down the middle. After the election, the president who was sworn in was expected to move in with speed and unite the country because of the divisions that were there during the campaigns. But this did not happen. What happened is that the seeds of division were sowed everywhere. Mbegu za uhasama zikaendelea kupadwa, zikapaliliwa, na sasa zinakuwa. We can see the animosity that is there between the Blue Nation and the Yellow Nation. The animosity that is between the government and the opposition can only lead to a dangerous situation. The animosity whereby they cannot even sit together. They cannot even be able to look at each other. I strongly believe that William Samoei Ruto and Raila Amolo Odinga cannot be able to look at each other's face. They cannot be able to stay at each other. Amuulize sasa, wewe ni nini sasa unafanya hivi? Nini hivi unaendesha nchi hivi? Naye amuulize, wewe si unipe nafasi nifanye hivi na hivi, si unipe muda. They cannot be able to sit down. Again, the former president and the current president cannot be able to look at each other on the eye. This is the kind of division that I'm saying that is existing in this country. Again, when you look at this country, we see that there is what we are calling ethnicization. Ukabila unaenezwa kila mahali. In fact, many times that the leaders have tried to profile the Luo community. Wengi wakisema kwamba that even Raila, whatever he's doing, he is doing this because he's a Luo. Anafanya hivi kwa sababu yeye ni Mluo. Anafanya hivi. Hata maandamano, the government has been trying to say that maandamano yalikuwa ni Wajaluo peke yake. Si kweli. Ukweli usemwe that if you have been watching my videos, you realize that I've always been opining that this country seems like we have two countries in one. A country that is trying to build a nation, because a nation speaks in one voice, one language, and they head in a certain direction. But our country cannot be able to speak in one voice. Our country cannot be able to face the challenges together. When you look at the ethnic mobilization that is happening in this country, it is shocking. Hizi ni mbegu ambazo zinaweza kuleta ukabila wa hali ya juu sana. And what we saw in Rwanda can also happen here. I can tell you, it can also happen here. You know the Hutus and the Tutsis, the way they used to talk about tribalism, the way they used to hate each other, the way they could not even speak, although they speak the same language, the way they could not be able to give each other space. Hivi ndivyo ambavyo tunaona hapa. Hivi ndivyo tunaona hapa Kenya. When you look at this country, two tribes, the Kalenjins and the Kikuyus, have been dominating the leadership of this country since independence. And now when you look at the other tribes are very bitter. The other tribes are not happy. Wana hasira nyingi sana. And that was the genesis of BBI. This was the brainchild. This was the thinking behind the BBI. When Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta realized this, he started thinking about how he would come up with a solution. Hakuwa mjinga. Alikuwa ameangalia nchi hii akaona ya kwamba pale ambapo tunaelekea ni pabaya. In fact, what we can say is that tribalism and alienation of the nation is on high octane level. Kila siku tunaona viongozi wetu wakijaribu kuonyesha kwamba kabila hili ni nzuri na hili si nzuri. Ule ukabila uko katika nchi hii ni wa hali ya juu sana. And that is why you see even leaders like Gachagua referring to Kenya as a company with only two tribes having preferential shares. That is the Kikuyus and the Kalenjins. Why leave the other communities? Are they not part of Kenya? Are they not Kenyans? Don't they pay taxes? And then why should you go for their taxes if you feel that they are not shareholders of this country? Kwa kile ambacho tunaona nchi hii, kule kutegana, kule kujaribu kuwatega baadhi ya watu, kutega makabila mengine, ni mbegu za uhasama, ni mbegu ambazo zinaweza kuzaa matunda yenye uchungu mwingi sana, si matunda matamu. Again, when you look at the appointments that is happening in the government, when you look at the CSs and the CAS, you realize that majority of these people comes from the two tribes. Some communities don't have even a CS. Hawana. And this is wrong in my view. This should not happen in a country where we have more than 42 tribes. Nchi ambayo ina makabila mengi, kisha wengine wanategwa. Kwa huku kuwatega watu ni kitu ambacho kinaweza kuwa na matunda mabaya sana. Matunda ambayo nasema they are not sweet fruits. They are bitter fruits. And this is something kile ambacho kinatokea ni kwamba makabila mengine yanakuwa na hasira, makabila mengine yana padwa na mori, makabila mengine yanahisi uchungu mwingi sana, because they feel that there is discrimination. They feel that it's like they are not part of this country. They feel like they are second-class citizens of independent Kenya. 60 years after independence, and we are still talking about tribalism. 60 years after independence, na bado tunazungumzia ukabila and its ugly face. Ati unasikia huyu anasema hivi, huwezi ukafanya hivi kwa sababu ni Mjaluo, huwezi ukafanya hivi kwa sababu ni Mkalenjin, huwezi ukafanya hivi kwa sababu ni Mkikuyu. Hizi ni siasa ambazo zimepitwa na wakati. These are times that are very different. We are living in a very different time. Huu si wakati ambapo watu binadamu alikuwa akiishi kwenye pango. It's not a time that men would live on caves during the day and then climb on trees at night for fear of wild animals. We are living in a different time. Time when you're supposed to live as social animals, cooperate, and give each other space. And then, when you look at the arbitrary arrest that has been happening in this country, and I just want to give an example of Fred Okengo Matiang'i. You see, this, although there are better ways of arresting such a senior citizen, there are better ways of approaching somebody who was so senior, somebody who held the docket of the interior for this country for all that long. This is a man that you are invading at night. This is a man that is taking hours, 10 hours at the DCI. And when you look at this, then I've always opined that whether we like it or not, Kenyan politics are very tribal, regional, na mtu wetu lazima aye mtu wetu. Matiang'i Okengo must always remain a Kisii before he become a Kenyan. You are first, like me, I'm a Kikuyu before I become a Kenyan. Anybody belongs to his tribe before he becomes a Kenyan. And there's nothing wrong with this. So wakati ambapo tunaona watu viongozi kama hawa wakijaribu kukamatwa, kupelekwa, kuaibishwa, there's a feeling among the tribes where these people comes from that these people are being punished. That this how watu wanateswa. Ni maonevu ambayo haifai. Maonevu ambayo hayafai. It's revenge. And one thing that this government has failed is how to steer the nation forward. Kila wakati tunaona wakitazama nyuma. Tunaona wakitazama nyuma na kujaribu kushtumu serikali ya mstaafu Rais Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. This is wrong. This should not happen. Because 6 months, 7 months down the line after elections, we are still blaming Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. Again, ukiangalia jana wale watu mlisikia UDA saying that Raila should be arrested. Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta should be arrested. But let me tell you, if you want to end this country, arrest Raila Amolo Odinga. If you want to tear this nation apart, arrest Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. And this is not a threat to anybody. This is a fact. Remember, these are very influential people. And I believe the 3 most influential Kenyans today, number 1 is Raila Amolo Odinga. Number 2 is William Samoei Ruto. And number 3 is Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. These guys are very influential. These are the guys that can tell the people to move to the streets na watokee papo hapo. Na Raila Amolo Odinga aliweza kudhibitisha jambo hili wakati ambapo alizuiliwa pale katika Serena, na baada ya muda mfupi tuliona vile ambavyo kulifanyika mitaani katika vitongoji vya Nairobi, kukawaka moto, vitoa machozi vikatumika, maji yakapulizwa kila mahali, wananchi wakaandamana kama siafu. And now these are the kinds of people that we are saying that you're going to arrest. I believe there's a better way of solving this problem. And again, why should they be arrested? Why should they be arrested? Wamefanya nini? Wamefanya kosa gani ndio waweze kusemekana kwamba watatiwa baroni? Again, when I look at the way the former president is being treated, this is something that can only create animosity. This is something that will backfire in the Kenya nation. In the fullness of time, this idea of attacking Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta all the time, disrespect of the former head of state, disrespect of somebody who held the nation together, disrespect of somebody who is an international figure, disrespect of somebody who is a peace ambassador, disrespect of a leader of the Kenya nation, we will one day backfire. I can tell you, one day this thing will backfire. When I listen to Ishungwa saying that Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta is financing maandamano, is funding the riots, is funding hii mikutano ya mass action, I see a deliberate attempt to use propaganda such that they can arrest Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. But I can tell you again, this one will backfire. The government will burn its fingers. Again, when you look at this country, you realize that kuna mambo ambayo yanafanyika, mambo ambayo tunaweza kusema ni ya kiholela. When you listen to these guys who are in power, they are not tamed. They can say anything. They can say anything. Look at the way, especially the Kalenjin leaders, the way they are addressing the Kikuyus, the way they are addressing Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, the way they are addressing Raila Amolo Odinga, utaona kwamba hawana heshima, ijapokuwa wasio na heshima wana mji wao. Ukiwaangalia vizuri sana, you see a lot of hatred. Indeed, they are sowing seeds of hatred. They are sowing seeds of hatred between the communities, which is wrong in my view. And I believe that the buck stops with William Samoei Ruto, because he need to rein on his Kalenjin leaders, because vile ambavyo wanaongea akina Cheriot, akina nani, akina Kiprotich, akina nani, wanasema neno lolote lile bila kujali, without knowing that everybody is listening, everybody is watching whatever they are saying. These are influential leaders. Again, ukiangalia vizuri sana, utaona kwamba when you look at the Kikuyus, it is only one man who is talking. Kimani Ichung'wah is the one who is looking like he's a propaganda machine. But when you look at the mountain, utaona kwamba wamenyamaza. Na ukiona mahali ambapo maji yametulia, hapo pana kina kirefu. Pana kina kirefu. The people of the mountain, I can tell you, have started seeing the reality. The people of the mountain have started seeing the true colors of this government. The people of the mountain are feeling betrayed. They are feeling that this is not what was promised by the government. This is not what should be happening. And again, when you look and when you add all this to the cost of living, you can now understand why I strongly believe that this country can easily burn. Unajua sasa watu wakikosa chakula, watu wakikosa vitu vya kimsingi, huenda wakaripuka, huenda wakawaka, huenda moto ukawaka. You remember the French Revolution? It started like this. You remember the Rwanda genocide? It started like this. You remember the Somali wakati wa Said Barre, mambo yalianza hivi. You remember the post-election violence, mambo yalianza hivi. Wakikuyu, remember that issue, that narrative of one tribe against 41, and the consequences were very clear. The consequences were disastrous. That is why the president, as a symbol of national unity, should unite this nation, bring the cost of living down, open the servers, and do anything that appertain to national building, anything that appertain to national integration. Because when the history of this country will be written, one man will be judged harshly, William Samoei Ruto, who failed to do what he was supposed to do when he had the opportunity, the time, the powers, and the resources. So this is Gashi's Command TV, the talisman back Africa. Here we call a spade a spade. Here we tell things as they are. We analyze politics. We give a critical view of the current issues and any other issue that we feel that should be addressed. Remember to like this video, and if you've never subscribed, kindly take a minute and hit the red button. And may you have a lovely evening. Bye-bye.